Alexis is all, John Janssen's a really good guy. And if Shannon doesn't go on the record and denounce everything she ever said about him, he will expose private videos of her on from the worst night of her life. How is that a good person? And okay, I know I missed a lot of John Janssen seasons. I think I missed 2 solid John Janssen seasons. What has Shannon been lying about? And so here's my experience with Shannon and John and all of it. All I've seen is Shannon saying, which has been proven to be somewhat incorrect, that she paid for everything, because that is not the case. He gave her $75,000. So there's that. Okay. But what else? Because I've seen her trying to defend him and say things like, we have a great relationship, but we get in fights that paralyze me. Is that not allowed? Is that what he's talking about? But I know I missed a lot of seasons, so that's possible that I don't recall a bunch of things she said about John. My experience has been her trying to protect John to her detriment. Like at the reunion last year, she said, I was just so freaked out because they kept talking about John Janssen. So I was like, because he'd be telling me like, you better defend me and you better tell them this and that. And so now he's got Alexis doing it. Defend him from what? But, they were trying to now say Shannon has called the girls and said things that are not true. But I haven't heard that. I haven't. We've never heard what was said. So why would you guys go as far as to threaten, I'm talking about you guys being Alexis and John, why would you go as far as to threaten to show something so humiliating? Because what? Okay, you're already suing her for the $75,000. So isn't that showing that she needs to come clean about that? You got her, cool. But what else does she need to take back? Again, I missed some episodes and some seasons, so I don't recall. But they also have footage that they keep flashing back to of John being like, fuck Gina. And it looks really freaky. So I don't know what this man, this is gross. But Alexis being like, he's such a good person. He has me in here defending him. And literally no one can get to know Alexis because she's talking about how good John Janssen is, because clearly he has told her, you need to go on that show and it's just positive about me. Tell the things I know about Shannon. Hideous. Clearly Shannon and John had a dark relationship, because Shannon has stuff. I believe Shannon has stuff about John. For sure. He has a dark soul. There's a darkness to him, for sure. I never liked John. From the second she introduced John, the picture I saw him, I was like, his eyes are too small. They look like I don't trust him. So I never really believed it was meant to last. But I'm sure some shit went down. I'm sure he did some shit in that relationship. And now Shannon can't ever talk about it, because he also has a bunch of secrets on her, obviously, and is willing to share them. So it's like he's got collateral. That's what it is. He has collateral. So she's not like, Shannon can't say shit now. I mean, I hope she does. I really hope she does. This is so hideously ugly for her. Shannon is already, not weak, but even Shannon admitted herself. She accused Lydia of coming on the show trying to get more camera time, and picking a fight with her was like the easiest way to go about it, because she knew, or maybe it was Kelly, because it's like, you see how I am, I overreact. So Shannon knows herself enough to know that she's not the most stable on the cast. And this woman is now filming with her very dark, horrible ex-boyfriend, where there's still a lot of dirt. His new girlfriend, who also happens to be connected to a lawsuit. And now there's another law. So, and secrets are being threatened to be exposed. I can't even imagine. I can't, because if I think about what an ex of mine could expose, I'm like, oh God, no. And so now Shannon is on camera getting this news that her ex is like, oh, I'll show those things that she's already worried about. So she can't talk, but I'm sure she's got stories about John, but she knows he has stories about her. So this is ugly. And Alexis is a big old flop. I was very disappointed to hear Andy say, I'm so happy Alexis is back. I love her being back on the show. I'm so glad she'll be on Watch What Happens Live soon. I'm like, dude, there's nothing grounded about this person. Okay, we'll get into that. So the episode opens with Heather and Emily going to like some little crafts store or something. The way they chose to show the dinner from the night before as a flashback, this whole segment where Emily is wasted and being hideous to Jen. I'm like, why didn't you guys just do it to be like, why didn't they just show the whole dinner? What they could have done with that dinner is shown us more of the scenes that really happened before they all get up and say they're leaving. They could have like done a to be continued maybe at the end of it and like finished up the fight into the next one. They didn't have to show it in this weird flashback. Like they're doing weird stuff with timelines this whole season with the paparazzi and the Katie and the Gina stuff. Like now it's a month, now it's 10 minutes. What are you guys doing? It's like, why are we telling this story this way? This is a good significant chunk of the dinner. Enjoy the dinner. I felt the dinner was kind of rushed. And I think it was Bravo posted on their Instagram. There was something about the dinner and the caption said, and there's so much more to this dinner to come. And then when we got the episode, I was like, well, it looks like it's over. Then we get this one, and it's this flashback of Emily being like, you're so stupid. You're so fucking stupid. Go fucking sell your Rolex. Pay back some of your bills. It was a hideous moment for Emily. But she kind of doubles down when she's with Heather and like explains it. It's like, no. Emily, you need to be waking up today going, ooh, that wasn't my move. She admits like she shouldn't be doing it that way. Fine. But that's insane to be like, pay your bills, Jen. When I think Jen starts going, Emily, did you want to end on a positive note? Which I don't know what that means, because were they fighting about something else? What was happening? Like, why did you not give us more of the dinner in the moment and then pick up the next episode, you know? Anyway, Tamara and Jen go to the beach. And what the hell? Where are they? Because they get on these lounge chairs and up comes a server. Like, can I get your drink order? And I'm like, what is this? Is this a feature we can all get? I would love it. Sounds it looked fabulous. Emily had claimed the night before that Jen's Rolex didn't work, and so they're talking about that. Jen then also posted on Instagram her with the Rolex saying Rolex 101, something about how you have to like program it every time you wear. I don't care. I honestly don't care. But obviously Jen does not understand where all this is coming from with Emily. And of course, Tamara in this conversation seems very concerned for Jen. Like, yeah, it's rough. Like, why do you think that's happening? Meanwhile, she'll be with Emily. Like, I mean, she can't look at her empty bank account. Like, just so two sides. So both sides. But Tamara's like, yeah, what do you think's going on with you and Emily? And then Jen goes, well, Gina did say something about how now that you guys are friends, she's meaner. And then they flash back to Gina, in fact, I think it was Katie, Heather, Shannon, maybe Katie wasn't there, I don't know, but saying to some people like, she's high-fiving Tamara, like, who can be the bigger bitch? I don't even recognize my friend, or something like that. But Tamara, of course, she's got to go, and that's my fault? You got to realize what you bring out in people. You really do. I know that I can bring out a snarky side of someone. I have to know that about myself. And yeah, I notice it. I notice it seems like she's a little meaner now. And it does feel like maybe I don't know. I can see it. But Gina meets Katie and Heather, Shannon will be joining. But the topic is Heather's really pissed at Gina. And the ironic thing is Katie's pissed at Gina. Gina cannot win this whole season so far. Everyone is mad at Gina. And I don't know why I'm like not getting it fully, because I'm usually not team Gina, but I'm not I am not getting it. Was it smart of Gina to say that to those people about Emily before talking to Emily? No. That was going to come back. And she kind of should have done that right away. Like after she left that gathering, she probably should have just called Emily and been like, I got to talk to you about something. Because it's going to get back to her. Emily, we know how this works by now. And so that wasn't her best move. And then the Katie thing, I'm still confused. We're going to get deeper into like the timeline of it all, which I'm still kind of confused about. Gina is owning up to it, though, and saying like, I fucked up. I didn't realize that this person could be trusted. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to keep going. Jen actually does call out Tamra for going so hard on Shannon. And Tamra says, it's because I care. If I didn't care, I wouldn't go hard. We've heard this from Tamra quite a bit. You got to stop. You got to stop with this bullshit. That's not, learn a better way to show you care. Get some therapy, figure out a better way to show someone that you care. And if you have anger towards someone that you care about, figure out a different way to go about expressing it. Unless you just want to ruin every single friendship. I'm surprised Jen has forgiven her. Tamra was horrible to Jen. It was way too far last season. And now she's doing it with Shannon. This is a Tamra problem at this point, you know? I cannot believe I went so many summers with my old cat litter. It would be hot and it would smell and it would be heavy and dusty and Pretty Litter really is as good as they say it is. And I wish I had listened to the ads earlier because I would have saved myself a lot of pain and suffering. Pretty Litter is lightweight, low dust, super absorbent, no clumping, but the crystals absorb the liquid and the odor. It's pretty. And Pretty Litter changes colors to indicate early signs of illness in your cat. So you get the little color card and you can say, oh, that's different. And I've already used it twice with both cats. And if that wasn't enough, Pretty Litter ships right to my door. I never run out. I don't have to lug heavy litter bins to and from the car. I'm telling you, the old litter I had was like a 50-pound bag. This, 1 6-pound bag. Lightweight. And it's pink. I mean, hi. Pretty Litter's amazing. You have got to try it. Go to prettylitter.com/shespeaks to save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy. That's prettylitter.com/shespeaks to save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy. prettylitter.com/shespeaks. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details. Gina invites Shannon and Katie to, okay, they are calling it La Quinta. Isn't it La Quinta? I'm going to call it La Quinta. So Gina invites them. It's really weird how they're talking about Elizabeth Vargas, who was on the show, like she's just Gina's friend. That's the only way they will let her be described. They will not say when she was on, we know her from this show. Nope. She's a friend of Gina's they've known each other for a few years. I'm like, yeah, like when she was on the show. That's so interesting that they're pretending that didn't really happen. But Katie can't go to La Quinta because Tamra's already invited her on the Big Bear trip. Well, okay, Emily invites Heather to La Quinta, and Heather goes, look, I'm not happy with Gina, and if I do go, I'm probably going to get heated, and I don't want to hear like, oh, it's Gina's trip, like Heather shouldn't have said anything, because like I'm going to say something. So the Big Bear group is Tamra, Alexis, Katie, and Jen. La Quinta group is Gina, Heather, Emily, and Shannon. I am so going with the La Quinta group. 100%. I don't want to be near Alexis. Period. End of story. She is the most annoying on the trip. They all are like, what the hell? This person is a lot of work. When Gina said that she was doing this trip and she said that she's got the listing for Elizabeth's house and that's why they're going to go party in the house, I was like, that seems risky. And then it didn't really occur to her until Emily and Gina pick up Shannon and Heather, and Shannon's bringing chili. And then Gina starts to go, wait a minute. I did stage this house to be sold, and now we're about to go fuck that up. Heather understood. Heather's like, I'm bringing a grill because if you're trying to sell this place, you don't want to be cleaning off the grill of the house again. You want it to look pristine. And Gina's like, no, and I feel like that's when she's like, you're kind of right. And then she sees the chili and she's like, this wasn't my best move, but okay. They stop at Jack in the Box. This scene was actually hilarious because Shannon's like, do they have a menu? So she gets out and walks up and looks at it and orders standing up outside of the car. And then they're all eating the tacos in the car. And they have this little image of Shane pop up like, don't eat in the car. I'm serious. Don't eat in the truck. Don't eat in the truck. And they're just eating their tacos. Alexis talks about John the whole ride up. Tell me why we like her. I know we got people defending. What do you like about her? And like they're getting annoyed. She's like, we went to 2 Christian services on Christmas Eve. My Christian service and his Christian service. Okay, thank you. And then, of course, there are a lot of lies about John, and I plan on clearing them up. And Tamra's like, do you ever give yourself a headache from talking so much? What? I talk a lot. Yeah, you've literally talked this whole time about John. And as Katie says, I don't even think I know Alexis. I know John. So I will give it up to Tamra. Her Big Bear house is fun. It looks like a fun little party pad for sure. Like that'd be a fun place to spend a weekend. Okay, fair. But Alexis is like needing to be the center of attention 24/7. And that from a grown woman who's a mom, that's exhausting. But it actually kind of tracks too. Like when you think back to her original season, she did all that weird shit where she would always bring it back to herself. And it's like, okay, yeah, now you're older. So like you're spiraling because, you know, you're divorced and you're not with Jim Bellino anymore. And she's had a series, I've only seen a clip or two of her time on Below Deck when she was a charter guest on Below Deck. And it was horrible. She's like jumping up on her boyfriend and like making out with him and being really over the top. And she was hideous on that. So that's how she was with that boyfriend. So this should not be a surprise that she's all whacked out for John. But they get on the mountain, which looked so fun. The inner tubing or whatever they call it, the tubing looked so fun. But they get up there and Alexis just goes down first. And she's like, I'm trying to have so much fun and just a lot of energy. And you can tell Katie's like, it's tough to match that. It's tough when you are a grounded person and someone with that very inauthentic and like, it's a weird energy to be around. It kind of makes your energy go away. And that happens for them the whole trip. Like, it's kind of impossible to like compete with that, where it's just weird. Honestly, it's just weird. Oh my God, in the house. Heather's doing the martini shaker thing and she spills it. And while I will admit I can understand Gina freaking out, whatever the fuck Heather does gets it out. She's scrubbing it with some little brush. And I'm like, it's working. Like she literally got it out. So I'd like to know what that was. But then she's like, okay, Emily's going to do the shaker because I'm going to drop it. And then Emily drops it. And then Shannon is looking for a cutting board. She's like, is this mold on the cutting board? Gina's like, this was the worst idea ever. It was because she's made everyone mad. Back up in Big Bear. What it is with Alexis is she's not grounded in any type of authenticity. So everything about her is absurd and disconnected and for attention. You know, like she can't, like she's, whatever they're waiting on her to do, probably go to dinner maybe. She's taking forever because she can't find her hairspray. And then she comes down and then she wants to show the girls. The girls are right in front of her and she keeps walking and they're like, we're right here. She's like, oh, so she's kept them waiting. She's just being the center of attention. Then she fucking hops on a FaceTime with John right there in the middle of it. It's weird. That's a weird thing. It's a rude thing to do. You know, we're all right here. At least be like, is it okay if I talk to John? Go run upstairs. But like you're doing that because you want to make sure they all see John. And then Tamra tells John how great he looks. And then she says in her confessional, okay, she says he looks like a weight has been lifted, a whole 150 pounds of it. Now, you don't need to say her number. And is that even her number? To me, she looks like she weighs 115 now. But like, don't fucking say that. No, rude. then she's telling John that she's always had good interactions with him. Eddie loves him. I know on Watch What Happens Live, Andy asked, there's questions that get, so he's reading the question. The question is something like, you got so upset with Gina for siding with Simon. Isn't that what you're doing with John? And she was like, no, I'm not. I'm really not. Like, not at all. But then we watch this and you are, you know? Andy did say that he clarified that he was there for the Alexis Tamra initial reunion. And it was before Alexis was seeing John, and it was before Alexis was getting asked back to be on the show. So, okay, fine. However, it does feel like you're totally siding. You're yelling at Shannon at the middle of a dinner like, oh, you paid for everything? Well, guess what? $75,000 you owe John, which she didn't remember doing. On Watch What Happens Live, the question was something like, and then you bring up the lawsuit or something, like that's why you're siding with John because you brought up the lawsuit. And she's like, I did that? They're like, yeah. At the dinner? I didn't even know about it. Well, you see it right there. And like, how have you not seen it? You watched the show. She's like, well, look at me, just being the worst. What? Okay, Tamra. Ever since getting with Teddy, it's been downhill. Ever since pairing up with Teddy, it's just been worse and worse and worse, honestly. Yeah. All right, so it's time for dinner at the La Quinta house. Shannon and Emily are sitting outside. They're waiting on the food. And Shannon goes, I don't want to stir anything up, but I heard from Gina and Katie that you were a lot angrier these days. You didn't want to stir anything up, and then you tell Emily this. Okay. Gina said before her dinner that you were so far up Tamra's ass that you were becoming more aggressive and meaner. Emily's like, well, fuck that. Fuck that. But then Shannon goes, oh, I don't want to make you mad. I hate this. Girl, lean into it. Lean into it. Shannon, give like a sly smirk and just be like, I know things are going great here. But Shannon, you met... And then she's like, oh, I didn't mean for this to upset Emily so much. I'm like, you told her out of context what Gina said. That's going to upset her. Okay? It's going to upset her. Because it's going to feel like, why is she should be talking to me before she talks to anybody else, which is why I said earlier, Gina, you should have made a phone call and covered your ass here. So now Emily feels betrayed. I really hate Emily's tactic, though, of just being very clearly upset. And then, what's wrong? Nothing. No, nothing. I hate that move. I really despise that move. Walk in and say it. Maybe she was trying to wait for her. Maybe she was trying to cool down, slow her heart rate down. Maybe that's what that was. And maybe she couldn't even control how she was responding. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But Gina's trying. She's like, are you okay? Now I'm like, you got Heather and you have Emily. So now they're sitting to eat, and Emily is sitting there not speaking, not eating, just sipping with her arms crossed. Finally, Gina gets Emily to talk. Finally. She goes, you said I'm mean, that I've changed, and that you don't even recognize who I am. Shannon's like, okay, well, no, that I didn't say that. That's you. Kind of whatever. But Heather takes this opportunity to go, oh, she's not the one that's changed. Gina, you've changed. And Emily really goes with this one. She's like, I know how to poke this one even more. She goes, yeah, she was all about Katie. She loved Katie. She wanted to bring her into this group. Then you had a conversation with Heather, and then you were ready to throw Katie out the door. Well, okay. Gina's allowed to have seen the way Katie moved and been like, oh, that's how you are? Okay, that's a little crazy. Because Gina goes, well, I was disappointed. And Heather goes, but how could you be disappointed? You knew what she was doing. I'm going to believe that when, let's say Katie brought this up to Gina, and Gina was like, oh my God, like whatever. And then let's go with Katie's, which we'll soon get to. We'll go with this timeline of a month later, then Katie or Gina messages Katie or calls Katie and says, Don't bring this up, though. Is that what we're saying? This all happened before filming, right? That's what they've got to be talking about, right? Right? And if that's the case, then like that's allowed. She didn't need to shut it down right then and there. If she was able to say to Katie, don't bring it up, and Katie didn't bring it up, then that's not, I don't put that on Gina. I know Heather thinks that she should have gone over to her and been like, this is what Katie's saying. But I can see that Gina was like, no, well, let's just ignore that. I can kind of see that. But I'm, like I said, I'm so confused on the timeline of things, because then we go back over to the Big Bear dinner. No shock. Tamara's like, let's talk about that paparazzi thing. Gina hung you out to dry. Like, Katie really wasn't thinking it like this, like the way Tamara's thinking of it, until literally Tamara convinces her that that's what happened. That is playing producer on another level. So this is what Katie says. She says, 2 nights before, which was at the golf thing, when they were prepping for the golf thing, which we saw on camera, she said that she didn't agree with everything I was saying, but this is your truth. You should talk to her, or I will. And I took that to mean that after Gina already told her not to say something, she said something. So Gina was like, now that you've said it, you have to tell Heather, because it's going to come out. And it's better just to talk to her about it than tell everyone else. That's what I was under the impression of when she said that. And like, not like, I'll back you up. In fact, opposite. Like, you already started it. You got to go finish it and talk to her. Otherwise, I'm going to have to talk to her, because I'm going to get in trouble for not like doing something sooner and stopping it. But Tamara, she's like, but do you feel like Gina hyped you up? Literally putting words like in her mouth, creating the narrative she wants. And Katie goes, in the moment, no. But then she goes, I looked at Gina defending her when Heather was like, all of us agree that this isn't true. And Gina said, yeah. Well, then they show the flashback, and it's not really like that. It's Jen saying, we didn't believe it. And Heather going, thank you for saying that. I wasn't worried about it. And Gina just going, yeah. So why did that upset you? Flashback, though, to Heather and Tamara at some store at some other point. And Heather is going on and on about how Gina should have said something. But then she goes to this place of like, you know how she was upset at the reunion about her children? Well, this affected my children. So do my children not matter? I'm like, not the same? Because Shannon said that child services had been called. And that's literally affecting her children. This isn't the same. This is roundabout. We've had people do this many times where people try to be like, this is affecting my kids. How? Okay, I guess, but like kind of a reach. Tamara is so excited for Gina to be in trouble. Her confessional is, I question Gina's motives. Maybe she secretly doesn't like Heather. That's you. That is you, girl. You don't like Heather. Period. Those of you who love to cook at home, I don't know how you do it without HelloFresh. When I was in my cooking at home era, I would go to the store, I'd get the ingredients for the recipe I found on like Pinterest or something, but then I'd be stuck with those ingredients and they'd go bad. But HelloFresh, you could pick from a huge variety. They do like fit and wholesome or vegetarian, family friendly. They do everything. You can customize week to week. You can also swap proteins too. So it's totally up to you what you get, but they only send you what you need for those meals. And they give you a nice little recipe card that you follow. So even dummies like me could do it. I made some bomb pork pineapple tacos. I think about those tacos all the time. My favorite thing to do with my HelloFresh box was invite my friend over who does like to cook, because she loved it. She called it like Legos, cooking Legos, because it's just you don't have to have, there's no creativity really. They tell you like you put that whole thing in the pan, you put that whole thing in the thing, and then you're done. She loved it. It was so fun for her. HelloFresh saves you money, saves you time. You get it shipped right to your door. And right now they're offering free breakfast for life. For your free breakfast for life, go to HelloFresh.com/freeshespeaks. One free breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life just by going to HelloFresh.com/freeshespeaks. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Heather is now heated in La Quinta. This affected my children. Really upset. I'm with Gina. It's not comparable. But Emily looks at Shannon while this is happening and goes, I thought I was mad. Heather warned you. Heather warned you. We didn't anticipate Shannon dropping a little tea on you, but Heather said, I will be the one getting angry. And so Heather goes, there's a difference between making a bad call in a moment. And Gina's like, that's what I did. Heather says, no, it went on forever. And Gina goes, it went on for less than 24 hours. Well, now Emily chimes in. And she says that Katie denied Gina called her 10 minutes later. And they flashed us at this lunch where it's Katie and Emily. And Katie is saying that Gina didn't call me 10 minutes later saying, don't say it. It was like months later. I'm like, from when you first met? Because you can't be talking about anything on camera because it's only like 3 months of filming, maybe 4. So that isn't it. And Gina's like, that's not true. I called her the next day. And Heather goes, that's not true. You told me it took all of 10 minutes. Flashback to Gina being like, at Galentine's saying, it was 10 minutes and I called her and I said, Katie, do not bring this up. I don't know if I believe... I don't even think it really fucking matters. If this is, I'm guessing this is what it is because it's not been made very clear. I am assuming that when Katie said to Gina the paparazzi thing, that she was like, okay, whatever, and then a month later thought about it, and all of this was before filming or anything. Like, does that really matter? This is a weird one. Jen, back in Big Bear, now says that Gina feels that, Katie, you put her in a bad position. Tamra's like, oh, wait a minute. I need to fix this. Gina knew it would not be funny. You got set up. Katie literally is like, wow, you really think that? Like, in her confessional, she's like, I wasn't thinking that until Tamra said it, and Tamra must be right. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? How did she do it? How did Tamra manage to do that? Because I'm not. Last week I was willing to be like, Gina, you could have done more, but now I think I get it. I think, and I'm like, I don't really think it was that bad. And Heather, you don't have a lot of serious problems in your life, and that's why this is such a big deal. That's why this is so huge. Being accused of calling paparazzi is not horrible for your kids. The cheating thing, yeah, but that is the real roundabout way. Real roundabout. That's not easy to say. Gina sticks to her story, though. She pulls the, if you're going to believe her over me on Heather. And Heather goes, I feel betrayed by you, and I'm having a really hard time. And she cries. Thank God, though, she does decide right there to believe Gina and try to move past it. Because I'm like, I can't talk about this too much longer. Okay, guys? Really can't. The Big Bear crew puts on the onesies. Tamra has Jen because she wants her to get on OnlyFans. She has her do this foot fetish thing with the apple pie, and then Tamra's eating the apple pie and sucking her toes, and it was a lot. It was a lot. Ugh. They tease Alexis, though. They're like, it's good that you're here. You needed a break from banging 3 times a day. Then Tamra asks, oh, does he have a big dick? And then Alexis is like, I'm not going to tell you that. And Tamra says, Shannon already told me he did. And Alexis, don't say the S word. Jen goes, okay, when do you stop? Like, you were on a hell path. Alexis, if she wasn't still going around making up lies about him, I wouldn't be on a warpath. Okay, what is she still doing? Alexis explains a little bit, too, of why she's extra close to John. And when her mom passed away, he was really there for her. So that's going to bond the narcissistic abuse from John. I would even wager to say that Alexis is a bit of a narcissist. But definitely John. Definitely. But Jen goes, do you think you'll stop her? Do I need to pull out the videos? Johnny's ready to talk. The videos of what? Oh, a lot. It will ruin her life. And Tamra then says he has videos of her DUI. And in Alexis's confessional, she said the videos are horrific. Once I saw them, I couldn't go back to feeling the same about her. I'm curious. what it is. I am. But one can imagine, like I said, maybe I said that in this recording, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure we can all imagine that Shannon was hysterical. So yeah, I don't need to see it. Whoever, like the darkest moments of our lives, like I am thinking of a very specific incident that if that was on fucking camera and somebody threatened to out it, that's not what that's for. That's gross. And again, Alexis, like, he's such a good man. Who does this? Who does this? Because she won't clear my name. What do you want her to do? Give her the list of shit that she lied about, and then maybe she can come on and do like I lied about whatever. Because at this point, I'm confused what you need from her. If she doesn't clear my man's name, of what? Of what? Literally, of what? He's kind of a creep, dude. I hate to tell you. He's a bit of a creep. Like, from what we saw. Okay? And who makes his girlfriend, like, defend her? Although, maybe part of that at the reunion that Shannon was so freaked out about was that she knew she had been lying about John and was scared that would come up because she had been lying. I don't know. Regardless, this is dirty and disgusting. Horrible. Don't. Please don't. I mean, do I want to secretly see them? Kind of, yeah. But that's because I'm gross and I'm a terrible person. Okay? But do not. Okay, yeah, that's it. Next week, it's a Shannon Tamra sit down, but from the beginning, Tamra is just vicious. On Watch What Happens Live, Tamra was okay. I'm not going to. She did a new procedure. I can't tell exactly what it was, but usually her work is very good. But something happened. But I'm not going to. That's it. Okay, I'm going to go now. Guys, please, if you could come to the live show, please come. I've done a horrible job at promoting it because I was scared of it, I think. But I would love to see you guys in person if you are in Los Angeles and you can come. It's at 7 p.m. It's early. 8 p.m. might as well be 11 p.m., but 7 p.m. we're safe. It'll be fun. Kendrick, we can't wait. Okay. Love you guys. Mean it. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.